everyone, it's Shel from Paper Octio Studio, and today I am sharing with you the first video in a two-part series of collaboration with Marta from Ayala Art channel here on YouTube. What we're doing is we're each making a background, mixed media background, or some type of a background, on a 9 by 12 piece of 140-pound watercolor paper, and then we're sending it to each other, and the other person will finish it and then send it back. So this is the background that I created for her and mailed off to her, and then come the 13th of next month you will see what she made on my background and what I made on her background. So I have these brand new sprays, and they are something that I've been wanting, and they were not available in the United States, but the Blick store has them now, and they're made by Marabou. They're mixed media art sprays, and the thing about them that it makes them different from all the other sprays that I have, they don't run with water, they're permanent. So you spray them on there, you don't have to worry about the next layer. So I wanted to play with them, so I'm starting my first layer of my mixed media piece with these sprays and some 12 by 12 stencils from Crafter's Workshop. So I first did kind of a skeleton tree in the gray color, and then I used kind of this leaf pattern across the top in mint, and I added some lemon. And then across the bottom I used one that's called Cells, which looks to me like rocks, and I used the gray again and then a little bit of orange. And obviously you can tell that I'm going to let my background be inspired by nature, which is really what inspires my art a lot of the time. I don't know what Marta will put on the top of it. I know she does a lot of faces and figures, so maybe a little wood nymph or something. I don't know, have any idea. All up to her. But when it's done, I'll have a piece of her art and she'll have a piece of my art. So it's a fun collaboration. So the next thing that I decided to do for my next layer is some collage, and I'm going to use this printed tissue and a few napkins, still going with nature. We've got some ferns and some things like that, and some flowers, and then this interesting text background. All these were sent to me by other people in different Happy Mail, so that's always fun. You don't have to buy the entire pack of napkins to just get one out of it, so I always like that. I've also done swaps before for napkins, but these ones were in my Happy Mail stuff. Can't tell you which people send them, sorry. I just know they were in the pile. So I'm using a water barrel brush and going around loosely around the images that I want out of the napkin, and then that helps you to tear out a nice fluffy edge that will blend in real easy to the background. If you cut out the pieces, first of all, it's kind of a pain because napkins are so thin that they flop around when you're trying to cut them. Also, having those hard edges is a lot harder to blend into your background. So I'm also going to use the purple butterfly from this napkin that had the orange and yellow flowers on it. And I'm using 2 pieces of tape to pull it apart because I forgot to pull the whole napkin, the second ply of the napkin off before I started. So then with these tissue pieces, I'm kind of imitating the linear shape of the trees coming up in the background. That's why I'm making them long and skinny. And of course I always like to make odd numbers of things when I'm collaging, so I've got 3 strips of the tissue, and then I'm going to have to figure out something to oddden up because I've got 4 pieces of napkin right now, so I know that I will add something else. So to glue down the tissue, because it's a pretty thick, nice paper, I'm using Liquitex gel matte medium, and then for the napkins I will be using my fluid matte medium, also from Liquitex, which is almost empty. I think it's pretty much done for. I need to get another container of it. I generally, for backgrounds and for mixed media, I usually use a matte product so that it's not too shiny. I have some other ones that are shiny that I use for other things, like if I'm going to be putting some type of glimmer or glitz on, I don't want to matte that down with my medium, so I use a glossy one for that. So over the last couple years of doing collage a lot, I have really narrowed down which mediums go with what paper and which type of look and effect that I like. And so I do tend to get these Liquitex, these two Liquitex ones, particularly the gel. I really like the Liquitex matte gel. If you would like to get some, I'll leave links below to Amazon where I get them. I just order them. And then you can get some for yourself. All the materials that I use on the project will be linked below, including the new art sprays, which will come from Dick Blick because Amazon doesn't have them. That's where I got them. And they were even on sale. I was so excited because I first heard about them from Andrea Kidman, my friend from Germany, and she's like, oh, well, just use the Marabou sprays. And I'm like, okay. Because we were discussing something about how sprays, every time you use a spray, you have to deal with the situation that it's water soluble in your mixed media. And she's like, just use the Marabou sprays. I'm like, good. So I went and looked for Marabou sprays and they weren't available in the United States. So I'm glad that they are now. I'm very excited. I'm going to get all the colors. Right now I have 12. But I have to get the rest. I'm not even sure how many there are, but I have to get the rest. So I did end up finding a fern to put down at the bottom, which made me have 5 pieces of napkin. And then I ended up adding some of this pretty neutral, it's kind of a cream color with black print, is another napkin that has music on it. I'm really fond of using text and music and maps as parts of my background. I like the graphic look of those type of things in my background. So I often do that. Book text, dictionary text, things like that. So I think I'm finally happy with my napkin collage placement, and I'm going to move on to my next layer after I trim off the edges, apparently. So now I'm going to do some stamping. This is a French script stamp that I got a long time ago from Stampin' Up! And I don't know if it's still available, but there are other French script stamps out there. And I just wanted to fill in with a little bit more script where there wasn't any collage. So I'm using the watering can color archival ink, which is a gray, and stamping that in the background. It's kind of hard to see on the video because it's subtle, but it's important. And then I'm going to get a leaf stamp and stamp in this olive colored archival ink. Remember, the archival ink doesn't run with water, so it's good for your mixed media. You can put more layers on the top. That's why I like it. And then the fact that there was some red and orange color on the right hand side and not anywhere else in the composition was bothering me, so I got out a flower and this I don't know if it's orange blossom, something like that, orange colored ink to stamp some flowers, and then that brings that color into the composition all over, so that helps. Some more trimming. So then now I'm going to do some background blending, and the way I'm going to do that is to use acrylic glazes. And I have the golden glazing medium, which is just basically some stuff without pigment. It's basically paint without pigment, so it's like a liquid paint base. And why use that? You say, why do you need that? You can just thin it down with water. Well, if you're really into doing art and you really want to do things right, if you put too much water in with acrylic paint, it makes it not want to stick anymore. It makes it lose its binding properties. And so using a glazing medium with the acrylic paint to thin it down and make it translucent doesn't change the property of the paint. It doesn't take away from the stick-to-itiveness of the paint. So that's the reason that you would do it. If you're making a card or you just, you don't really care about it, you're working in your art journal, just thin it down with water. It's, it has the same effect. It's just that if you really want something that's going to last, then you should probably have a glazing medium, or you can use your fluid mediums, like your fluid matte medium, as well as to do a glazing. The glazing will stay kind of a satin look. The matte medium will bring the acrylic paint down to a matte finish. So then I'm doing the same thing with this blue. I can't remember the name of the blue right now, but I'll link it below in the description box under the video. Thinning that down with the same glazing medium and just adding some of that. The other color that I used was Titanium Buff, because the backgrounds of my napkins were off-white and the paper was white. So I needed to balance that out. Then this one is the avocado colored paint from Dylusions, and I again mixed that with the glazing medium and added that to my background, just using a 1-inch flat brush for all those layers. So then I got the sprays back out. I wanted to add in some of that lavender purple color of the butterfly in other areas of the composition, so I'm using spray for that, just spraying it around. And then I added a little bit of the orange, I think it's Tangerine, in mostly splatters, and some yellow splatters. That's lemon. I know that one's named Lemon. And then some lavender splatters. And I think I used a little bit of the sky blue as well, just to kind of fill in the composition. Remember, this is the background. It's going to get painted over. So I didn't want to make it, I don't want to have it be too much. So my final thing to do is to take some white gesso with my 2-inch brayer some of that all over to push everything back. I didn't go crazy with it, but I did add, some neutral color on the top. So if you've enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. I need to know that you were here and that you enjoyed the video, so I'll keep making videos. Turn on your notification bell if you haven't already. We talked about that before. And of course, go and look at Marta's video linked in the description box below to see what she made. So that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.